Today we have a bit of a cheap versus expensive, if you will. Neither of these guitars is necessarily cheap or really low priced, but one of these guitars is half the price of the other. We're comparing an Alvarez Yairi versus their popular Laureate line, so stick around. Hey, you're watching Alamo Music TV. My name is Chris McKee with Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. If you are new to our channel, let me ask you to subscribe, turn on notifications, like our videos, comment on them, and share them with your friends. If you want to support the channel, that's the best way, but you can also check out our spring store link below for custom swag, and check out our podcast, the Fretboard Confessional, wherever you get your podcasts at. So we have been showcasing the Alvarez guitars on this channel for a bit. These are guitars that we've kind of featured before, but I figured this would be a great chance to compare two interesting guitars in the lineup. This is from the Laureate line. This is the LD70e. And from the Yairi line, this is the MYD. Did I get that right? DYM70. Dyslexia does kind of run in my genes. Really great guitars, both solid wood guitars. The Yairi, of course, is made in Japan. It is a Benchmade handcrafted guitar. The Laureate's interesting because it is made in China, but it is made with a bench approach. Now, what does that mean? According to Alvarez, that means that there is an individual assessment and collection of all of the parts that come together to make up the guitar. There's a lot of scrutiny going on with all of the materials and the way that they are crafted. There's a lot of attention that's been put into making sure that the finishes are fantastic and you get a really good guitar for a lower price. What does that mean? Well, between these two guitars, the Laureate is half of the price. Now, the other differences between these two guitars is that the Laureate skews closer to a traditional aesthetic form, which means you can take a look in the bridge on this is not the separate bi-level bridge that the typical Alvarez and the Yairis have. Instead is a one-piece traditional bridge design. Now, they both feature the FST6 bracing, which is the forward-shifted scalloped bracing between the guitars. Both of these are also East Indian rosewood back and sides with spruce tops. Now, the Sitka spruce top featured on here with the burst is considered like 4A spruce, as is the spruce that's on here without the burst from the Yairi. Other aesthetic appointments, you can see the headstocks are similar but different. The tuners are different. These are Goto 510s. These are open gear tuners. Very blank fretboards except for the inlay at the 12th fret. Now, the Yairi does come with a case. The Laureate comes with a very nice gig bag, and the price difference literally is about half. This one's about $1,500. This is $3,000. Now, the other things, this one does not have a pickup in it. This one does, and it has the LR Baggs Hi-Fi, which is a bridge plate transducing pickup, which is becoming popular both in normal hi-fi as well as the hi-fi duet version that features a microphone. So it's pretty cool to see it featured on here. The bottom line is the Laureate is a huge value considering that it's all solid wood. And it shows what you could do price-wise by choosing a certain country of origin. The labor is less expensive in China. So even though they take a kind of a Benchmade approach to building the Laureate, they can do it at half the price versus in Japan. And the craftsmanship in Japan, as we've said in all of these videos, is just next to none. I mean, these are, I dare say, perfectly built guitars in the Yairi line. That being said, we actually haven't had any issues with any Laureates come in. I haven't seen anything come in that also has an issue, and I know that there is incredible scrutiny that they're placing to every aspect of these being made in order to really kind of beat the market with what they're doing and create a $1,500 guitar that is extremely compelling against the competition. Now, the question then is, how do they play and how do they sound versus one another, given that they are so similar in design? Let's check it out. All right, so there you have it. Before I comment, lock in your answers below, kids. Put in the comments which one you liked and preferred and that you would add to your stable if you can or if you could. So here's my assessment. I think they're both fantastic guitars. I noticed that there is a certain thickness, kind of a vintage aspect to both of these guitars. They're big dreadnoughts. They've got the long scale, 1 3/4 inch nut width, the big body, and they actually, I think, would favorably compare to something like a Martin HD28. The first thought that went through my mind when I played the Yairi was we should do a video with this guitar versus the Martin HD28. We recently did one with the 810E Legacy from Taylor versus the new HD28 with the new Golden Era bracing, and also had a Ferk Vintage 3 in that mix. Maybe we ought to just do a video where we start pulling all of these high-end, similarly priced rosewood spruce guitars together and make Cooper play like 10 of them in a video. What do you say? Let me know in the comments below what you think about that. But that was the first thing that came to mind. I noticed with the new Martins, for instance, there's kind of a thickness that's come about with the new bracing that I really like. And this also has a similar response. Now, it's rosewood, so you have that high-end sparkle, you have that chime, you have all of those overtones that particularly come out when you're playing up the neck. But when you're playing like down in cowboy chord territory around the first position, it is a chunky response. And the Laureate is the same way. There's definitely similar bracing going on, similar tone widths, similar builder. There is that response, which I really, really like. Now, how do they play? I like the playability of the Yairi just slightly more. I would actually probably bring the action down just a bit for my own purposes on either guitar, but I think the Yairi plays a little bit better if I'm splitting hairs. The setup on the Laureate is fantastic, and I actually kind of debated which one I thought played a little bit better. They're both strung with light gauge strings. They both play fantastic. It seems to effortless to play up and down the fretboard. I like the tuners on the Yairi better, which isn't a surprise. I mean, they're go-to 510s, so kind of goes without saying. Now, value-wise, I think they're both good values. If you compare the Yairi to other guitars from other manufacturers, it's a few $100s less expensive than, say, like the HD28E without a pickup, or HD28 without a pickup that I was comparing it to. So it's a value from that standpoint. It's also less expensive than the 810E on the Legacy collection from Taylor and many, many others. The Laureate's huge value. If it doesn't bother you that it's made in China, and you're okay with a gig bag versus a case, for around the $1,500 mark, coming in with a really nice pickup system, with the playability and the sound that you get out of it, wow. I mean, it's kind of unheard of. There are lots of other guitars from really good manufacturers at $1,500 that aren't even solid wood, solid top, laminate back and sides. So it is a huge value and a great looking guitar. I also dig the herringbone. Which one would I take? That's really hard to say, honestly. I really like the Yairi, but it's by such a small margin, honestly, that it comes down to very, very minute, nitpicky things. Like I like the case that it comes in, and I like the fretwork on it just a little bit more, and I like some of the response in the notes just a little bit more. But wow, it's really, really close, which I think shows the value of what you can do if you take a really scrutinized approach to building a guitar overseas in China, like they did with the Laureates. Now, of course, we know pricing with everything coming from overseas is up in the air, but even if it went up 10%, it'd still be a huge value. So I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Let me know what you thought, what your ears heard between the two, if one stood out to you. I know you couldn't play them, so I'm trying to articulate to you the playability, which I think is fantastic. But there's a huge value conversation behind here. So let us know in the comments below what you think and what you have been wanting to add to your collection. Now, I will say this. The Yairi guitars are hard to come by. As a dealer, we at times have stockouts of these guitars where we are waiting and waiting and waiting for them to come in. They are truly special. And for me, it's something like you are in the know about how cool these guitars are relative to maybe the general guitar buying public who doesn't know how amazing they are. And of course, that's because you're well informed because you subscribe to this channel, right? And if you don't, you should. So let me know in the comments below what you think. If you are interested in anything from Yairi or anything else from Alvarez, make sure you visit our website, alamomusic.com. You can add to cart on our website, purchase right there. We have financing options, all those great things. But you can also reach out to a live person. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's Cooper, one of our other intrepid salespeople. Through the chat button, you just click on Cooper's head, and up comes a thing. You can message us, and we can text you back and forth to help you find the guitar of your dreams. If you're new to our channel, do what I said earlier. We would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. But also, if you would turn on notifications, and that you would comment, and that you would share these videos with your other guitar friends so that we could grow this channel and do even more cool stuff to serve you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.